Hey guys, I'm here with the refreshed 2024 Acura TLX Type S. It's been about 3 years since I took this on track at Laguna Seca. I'm going to tell you why I think it's a better car for everyday usage than its brother, the Integra Type S. The TLX's exterior hasn't changed a whole lot. We still have the jewel eye headlights with the chicane style daytime running lights. But down here, this frameless, bezel-less grille is much more similar to what we see on its brother, the Integra Type S. I think that the TLX now looks just as good as the Integra Type S. Yes, the Integra Type S has that cool wide body kit, but for me, I actually prefer the Honda Type R, the Civic Type R over the Integra styling. So here is a little bit more my speed compared to the wide body kit, super Need for Speed Underground Integra Type S, and that's kind of what today is. Look at the really wet streets with all the reflections. It's going to be a little bit of that Need for Speed Underground at nighttime sort of video. Now on the side here, check out these Y split spoke wheels. They are about a $2,200 upgrade if you want summer tire. If you want, all seasons. If you want summer tires, this is going to run you about $3,300 bucks. Of course, we have those 4-pot Brembo brakes up front. That Type S logo there at the side. This thing still looks amazing. And Acura really, they compromise interior space so that they could have that amazing long hood, that long dash axle ratio to make it look like a, let's say like an inline 6 or maybe a V8 powered car. But we have here, of course, the V6 turbo, 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque, made it to the 10-speed automatic transmission. Really the only difference is this time around is that they added a little bit more throttle response to the Sport Plus mode, but other than that, it's going to drive almost identical, and there are a lot more upgrades in the interior we'll get to. All right, so let's talk about the back. Of course, we have the active exhaust here. We have the very aggressive chicane style running lights. Of course, you can get a carbon fiber spoiler instead of the traditional glossy black one. Type S logo there on the corner, and then super handling all-wheel drive. It looks definitely mean from the back with those huge fat exhaust tips. Let's just get a close in. Absolutely beautiful.
No hatchback, no problem, because the TLX Type S had no problem stuffing groceries for a family of now 7 into the back here, completely filled out the back trunk. Now there's also huge water bottles down there. Then you have plenty of interior cargo space, sush and a little flower action, and then that trunk extends into the back seat as well. This week, baby Kirk, also known as baby Abe, middle name is Abraham, he got his first Acura hands-on the channel. So welcome him to the fleet, and let's get back into the back seat.
Now where the Integra eats this guy's lunch, it has over 2 more inches of legroom for the passengers back here. But I'm happy to report that alongside of the vents, we have some illuminated USB-Cs for the back. Honestly, the back seat's been perfect for little kids, so if that's what you're mainly going to use it for, you're not missing much over the Integra. Skid plate here, but you can get that illuminated if you prefer. Of course, we have that ambient lighting, that iconic drive, I believe that's what Acura calls it. You can sync it up with the different drive modes, which we'll get into right now. So twisting the Acura knob, we're gonna get Sport, and you can see that the ambient lighting is now red instead of kind of like that white in normal mode, and Comfort turns it to a blue. But you can also, of course, individually customize that if you don't want to tie it to your driving modes. The climate control buttons here are still fantastic, pretty easy to use. Maybe not quite as intuitive as the Integras, but it's really a toss-up and maybe a point of preference. Unlike the Integra, which has a 6-speed manual, this has a more straightforward, a little bit too Honda-like for my liking, with this automatic transmission push button to go sort of thing. We have a 20% increase in screen size with the refreshed TLX. Unfortunately, it is not touchscreen, and that drives me nuts because on Android Auto, it's really hard to interact with using this touchpad down here. At least the volume knob right here is easy to get to. Also new for 2024 is this fully digital screen here, and it does have some cool animation. So let's turn off the car. So there's a startup screen, but it also has a cool ending screen that for some reason it didn't just trigger it. So let's do that again. There we go. There we go. Looking pretty cool. Now also standard for 2024 is this head-up display. It's gonna be really hard for the camera to focus on it. There it is. It is super bright, super high quality. It's the same head-up display I believe that we see in the MDX, and it's really, really nice. And look how tight and cropped it is to that hood, and it's still crystal clear. Now I've been driving between normal and comfort mode in my daily driving, but let's go ahead and switch it into Sport Plus mode and do a quick 0 to 60 for you. All right, we've flipped the TLX Type S into Sport Plus mode. We've also put in the sequential mode. Torque brake, it goes to about 2,000. Oh yeah. Here we go. 0 to 60 in 5.05. And 0 to 100 in 5.41. Yeah, so it's pretty predictable. I remember it being a 5-second 0 to 60 car, and it is repeatable and it is very consistent. Here in the TLX Type S, you can send about 70% of that 354 pound-feet of torque to the rear, and then you can send about 100% of that torque to an individual rear in the back. And getting on the throttle like I just did there is something that the Integra could only dream of with its front wheel drive output. This being all wheel drive in any weather condition, it's just simply hit the gas and the system figures it out for you. It is fantastic. You still have quite a bit of weight. I believe it's about 60% of the weight over the front axle, and that's not ideal, but honestly, in flat Florida where I live, it feels really light. The steering feels super sharp. And it's time to get out of comfort mode because I am not asking it to perform like in comfort mode. So once I put in Sport Plus mode, it downshifted twice. Instead of probably just cruising in 10th gear, I'm now cruising in 8th gear. Pedal down. So much louder. And we also have the paddle shifters. You have a linear tachometer at the top of this instrument cluster, which is pretty helpful. When you're about 4,000 RPM, it'll let you downshift into the next gear. Red line's just a hair over 6,000 RPM. We're gonna keep this gearing here. And yes, the throttle is pretty twitchy in this Sport Plus mode. Throwing it in the turn. Oh. Oh man. So yeah, I really like the TLX Type S for everyday driving over the Integra. The Integra makes me want to behave more like a hooligan. It wants me to take every single corner possible at the highest possible speed, because that's where the Integra is the most fun. Yes, it's also fun to bang through the gears and do the auto rev matching downshifts, but when I'm taking my kids to school in traffic or even waiting in car line, I'm gonna put it back into sport mode because it's singing too high for me. But when I'm in those situations, just doing everyday dad stuff, I do not enjoy rowing my gears. Even though that gearbox is about as perfect as they come, I would just rather be in this. It's more comfortable. It gives me more of that true luxury sense. Even though I don't have a heated steering wheel here. You know what else it gives me though? Good brakes, as I dig into those electro-servo brakes. It's kind of brake-by-wire. Anyways, I also like the 360 camera. We have a green light here, so we can't look at that 360 camera too much. You know, it feels about the same quickness as the Integra, and I think the reason is because of the weight difference. Yes, this has a little bit more horsepower and a little bit more torque, but with the added all-wheel drive system here and just this heavier TLX platform compared to that Civic platform, it feels more stable, but as a result, you know, you feel the weight absolutely in the acceleration and in the turns. But like I said, through the turns, when you have crappy weather conditions, this thing is just going to eat them up and spit them out with a super handling all-wheel drive. Headlights in here are fantastic. I have nothing bad to say about them. Very bright. They do have auto high beams for you guys out there. When I first got in this, I immediately thought, man, this is pretty stiff. And I have excellent roads here in Florida. Most of the time I don't notice it, and you can customize your driving modes here. If you want, like, let's say the comfort adaptive dampers setting with the sport handling as well as the sport throttle response. To me, when I'm in Sport Plus mode, the throttle to me is just a little bit too twitchy. I'd probably only ever use that for track usage. Not quite sure what I'd use Sport Plus mode, because I think Sport mode does everything I want for performance. So I've never been stopped here, but let's see how it does on Sport Plus and just hammer. It acted like the roads weren't even wet, and it's raining right now. So, man, the downshifts sound pretty good. You know, they kind of sound lethargic, but I do like the exhaust note. I do wish there's a little bit more character, pop, and grunts going on. Speaking of character, this engine, while it's very Honda-like, it's smooth and predictable and extremely refined, doesn't have a whole lot of character. It's just, it just kind of feels like a V6 with extra torque. So it's a great engine, like I said, but just not the most satisfying when you ring it out or play with it a little bit. But it's happy to play, just you're not getting a lot of feedback. It's kind of like dating a girl who looks really cute. She has all the pinpoints that you want in a girl. She just doesn't talk to you very much, but you know she likes you. So it's just kind of a weird situation. You just want a little bit more. There it goes. There he goes. She'll still play some hardball though. But thank you guys for watching. Acura, thank you for sending me the TLX Type S. Let's put it back into some normal sport mode. And yeah, I think it's a great buy. I'd be buying this over the Integra Type S, because the Integra Type S to me is just a fancier Honda Civic Type R, and I like the Type R better personally, from the looks to the seats. And if I want a luxury car, a luxury sport performance car, in everyday traffic, I would rather have the 10-speed auto and the reassurance of super handling of all-wheel drive, where I can just smash the gas whenever I want, even in rainy conditions, and it just puts down all that power, no problemo. So thanks, signing off. If you enjoyed today's quick nighttime coverage, I'm probably one of the few that did a nighttime review on the end of embargo day for this new TLX Type S, slightly refreshed, upgraded, and it is, yeah, just as fantastic as I remember it being, just now with more technology, like the 360 camera. Oh, and something else it has over the Integra is just a basic sunroof, so I can mount my camera to the top. The only way you can get the Integra with the sunroof is in the A-Spec models or the non-Type S models, so it is what it is there. So I appreciate having that. But signing out from the lovely, refreshed Acura TLX Type S. See you guys in the next one.